I never imagined a quiet departure could change my life entirely, but here I am, staring at the empty apartment I left behind, remembering the woman I once thought I'd spend forever with. My name is David. I'm 36 and I had spent 12 years building a life with Emily, my wife. We had our routines, our little inside jokes, and the kind of comfortable rhythm that feels like home. People admired our marriage. Friends would say, "You two are perfect for each other," and I would smile politely, hiding the nagging feeling that maybe perfection was just an illusion I had convinced myself of. It all started with subtle hints, small inconsistencies that I had ignored because I didn't want to believe the truth. Emily had changed, not drastically, just enough to notice if you were paying attention. She became more guarded with her phone, lingered longer at work, laughed at jokes that didn't make sense, and had a way of brushing off questions with a shrug that didn't reach her eyes. At first, I thought it was just stress or maybe a midlife shift I didn't fully understand. I never imagined the words infidelity would cross my mind. The night I discovered the truth is burned into my memory. I had come home early from a work trip, intending to surprise her. The house was quiet, eerily so. I walked through the living room, noticing small details out of place, things that didn't belong. And then I saw the messages, short, intimate, hidden on a tablet she thought I never touched. Every carefully worded text, every subtle confession of affection toward someone else, felt like a cold hand pressing against my chest. I sat there in silence, reading through the evidence, each message heavier than the last. The woman I had trusted completely, the woman I had built a life around, had betrayed me in ways I could never have imagined. I didn't yell, I didn't confront her. I didn't throw plates or shout until my voice broke. I simply left. Quietly. I packed a bag with the bare essentials and drove to a hotel, not wanting to see her, not wanting to hear the lies I already knew. It wasn't a dramatic exit because I didn't want drama, I wanted clarity. I wanted to reclaim a part of myself that had been buried under years of betrayal disguised as normalcy. That night, I realized that love could hurt, and that sometimes the most painful acts are not those shouted in anger but those committed in secrecy. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. I stayed away, careful not to leave traces, careful not to let her know I had discovered everything. I changed my routines, avoided mutual friends, and buried myself in work. And yet, every time I closed my eyes I could see her face, hear the familiar tone of her voice, and remember the laughter that once felt so genuine. The quiet absence of confrontation was deafening. I wasn't running to punish her. I was protecting myself from further pain, from another layer of emotional sabotage I didn't deserve. During that year, life continued around me, but it felt suspended, like a film stuck on a single frame. I rebuilt routines, developed small habits of solitude, and learned to enjoy the silence that had once terrified me. I met people, smiled at strangers, formed acquaintances who never crossed the line into my private life. I existed on the edge of normalcy, not entirely happy, not entirely broken. The betrayal had changed me in ways subtle and profound. I was more guarded, yes, but also more observant, more patient, and unexpectedly, more resilient than I had ever been. Then she found me. I didn't know she would, I didn't know she could. I was sitting at a cafe near my apartment, alone with a book and a cup of coffee, when I saw her approaching. Emily looked different, older in ways that were subtle but undeniable. Her hair had streaks of gray, her eyes carried a weight I hadn't seen before, and there was a hesitancy in her step, a vulnerability that hadn't existed during the last time we spoke. She paused a few feet away, clearly debating whether to cross the distance, and when our eyes met, the flood of memories hit me like a wave I hadn't expected. She spoke first, her voice trembling in a way that caught me off guard. "David, I know it's been a long time, but I had to find you. I need to say something." There was an urgency in her tone, a desperation that hadn't been there when I walked away. I remained seated, studying her, trying to measure the sincerity behind the words. She was no longer the woman I thought I knew. She had changed, and yet, in some ways she was painfully familiar. Her confession came slowly, almost painfully deliberate. She admitted to the affair, the mistakes, the lies, and the selfish decisions she had made. She explained, or perhaps rationalized, the years since our separation, her loneliness, the regret that had eaten at her. "I've realized what I lost," she said, "and I can't stop thinking about you." Each word was weighted with remorse, and yet, I felt an unexpected chill settle inside me. I had imagined this confrontation in every variation: angry outbursts, apologies, tears, but never with this calm, almost fragile tone. For the first time in months, I allowed myself to speak. I told her that the trust we once shared had been irrevocably broken, that the life we had built together could not be restored with apologies, and that some actions leave marks deeper than time can heal. She listened quietly, nodding, and I realized she understood the truth in my words even if she couldn't change the past. She had discovered too late that love, when betrayed, leaves a scar that cannot simply be erased. And yet, beneath all the regret and sorrow, there was a strange closure. I had survived the betrayal, rebuilt myself, and reclaimed my life without her. Her presence, though unexpected, did not shake me. It reminded me of the strength I had gained, the independence I had nurtured, and the boundaries I had established. I could empathize with her regret, but I did not need to absolve it. In that moment, I realized that walking away had not been weakness. It had been my only path to preserving my dignity and my sense of self.